That's the traveling one. First mistake. Ciao, Colin. First mistake in the first, second.
Yes, get out of the way early. That's what I say.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Have you been?
Grand. It's been a gorgeous week of drawing and updating my hardware. So we're in a new zone at the moment. Everything is exciting. It's technology. It's alien. It's encounters of several kinds. It's been a lot of beeping, a lot of things happening, a lot of Wi-Fi. It's
Gotcha. So a lot of moments of intense gay boomer confusion.
just literally at one point there was a piece of information that was like, just make the two things kiss and they will swap all their information. I was like, that's
Rude.
extremely sexual. I don't like
Yeah.
that. But it worked, so here we are.
What you're saying is you had sex with a guy from BT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, they don't call it the open net for nothing. How was your week?
Well, I'm, I guess, 2/3 of the way through my imprisonment, so life carries on much as it. I said I'd either look like Gaddafi by this point, but I guess Gaddafi on cortisone because there's been no exercise, and you can hit moments of spiral, going like, God. Being outside would be pretty good. I mean, I can venture outside onto my lovely little farm, but that's not quite what I meant. It's amazing. Well, I am certainly very grateful for it. But this morning, if I look out the window, the grass is covered in a thick, beautiful frost. So,
Oh, Jesus.
so it's not like, maybe I'll just take the laptop and sit outside. It's not that. Yeah, you're still sort of inside by the fire. And you can't go anywhere else. And usually at this time of year, I like my goth walks. So,
Yeah.
I play my Nika and walk with a big coat along the beach. And and I'm not doing any of that. But it's all good.
It's one step at a time, one tiny little step at a
No,
time.
no, exactly. So, I mean, what else have you been up to? Is there, let's jump on in because we're here for the Fox. But I guess we should start with some updates about what's happened before. Do we want to go with the house to begin with?
Yes, just a little teeny tiny bit of rendering on that. But it's looking good. We're
Oh,
working on
hang
bigger
on.
canvases now. So, do
Just
we
give
have
me a
it?
sec. There we go. Yes, that's the second error. You can tell that the Gaddafi effect is in play. Right. Nope. That is not the house. That's young Toby. Let me get the house from. So it's done. I'm going to switch it back to main. So we might actually have to jump straight to putting this on the web because it's once again changed the names. If you don't change the actual file names when you duplicate how it works, this is all really boring. But if you don't do it that way, it'll just revert to whatever the fucking image you had was before. So that was young Toby.
So we're
Young Toby's looking
talking.
good.
We're doing child. We're doing
Give me a
Toby.
sec. No. I'm just going to jump. If I upload the house to Chrome, which is how I have to get the live streaming to work, let me just go to screen share. There we go. This will do. So we're back on the house. Sorry about that, but this is the stupidest fucking software that exists in the fucking world. But given that I'm trapped in a house, talk to me about a much nicer one.
So, yes, this gorgeous, beautiful house. So we're on a bigger canvas, which means more detail, and the original house. This, by the way, was fully I built a rod from my own back here because I was like, I'm going to redo the house card because although it was in a kind of semi-finished state, now that we're kind of doing different things, I want to kind of go back and just refocus on it. And with what I've been doing with the cards, I want it to be kind of more realistic
Mm-hmm.
and more. Yeah, I want you to see the gleam, the sort of the ideal of this kind of very enticing and appealing place. So we're getting there bit by bit. I've done a bit of hill, a bit of water, we're getting there. Just making sure the structure is sound, good foundations and all that.
Yeah, it's what you want in a house.
Yeah, it's the tertiary card it's taken a bit more because these cards as we do the bigger canvas, the cards just take a little longer to do because it's more detail, it's more this, that, and the next thing. But we're getting there, and it's kind of, she's beguiling, but she's, I'm going to catch her in the end. It's all right.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Is this the one you sent through? Have I got an earlier iteration of it?
No, that's the one. That's with the water, and I've added in some vegetation and stuff. So we're getting there, and I've redone the sort of hills and the clouds and things. It might change again, but I think it's kind of, I'll build on what we have.
Yeah, it's good. I love that you say a bit more realistic because we're going in a very different direction with the fox when we get to it.
Well, yeah. Well, realistic in the sense of, I guess that is the best word for it. Yeah, because the pigeon was. Yes,
yes,
precisely. There you go.
Yeah,
higher fidelity, gorgeous.
Because it's a 90s reference from when we were 5, and
yeah,
also,
we'd both just been born, and that was the movie that was playing the minute we came out.
Alrighty, so let's go to my beautiful son Toby. Will this work? Yes, that one actually did work. So we kind of, jumping back, it was you, maybe Toby is Angela when we allow them to find themselves at a later age, but I do like where that's landed. And it's so funny that this, for people who missed the last episode, first of all, shame on you. Secondly, it's turned out so well for what was effectively like an arbitrary combination of stock photos. It's like, I want the kid with the cape in the scene with the kid in the puddle, right? And here's a river.
Yeah, it was, and just from, so in earlier cards, when there's been like multiple options of visuals, I've kind of done like, 3 or 4 different sketches of what we could do. And I was like, you know what, this one, you can't just make this one image and it hits enough of the points that we were talking about. And it was a labor of love. I did a little bit of painting. It's a bit more painterly in the background, so it's not quite finished, but it's got everything for such a wide variety of like inspiration. We've definitely squeezed everything into it.
And I mean, it looks like, because I shared a blog post about being in the rainforest for my birthday, but it actually looks like Toby's in the river that I was in.
Yeah, no, that was like, I messaged you in the Telegram, and on the Telegram.
Thanks, Nan.
Yeah. Saying this is like, because I was working on it as I've seen the post, and I was like, oh, this kind of looks like what we're dealing with here. And you just have that kind of expression of glee on your face.
Yeah. Well, that's where Toby gets it from.
A little sync.
Yeah, that's where Toby gets it from. His love of rivers comes from me.
Well, his love of like just gently gracing the presence of a crocodile. But yeah, there you go.
No, it's good. So what I am thinking is, I know, like if I look at the sketch version of it, I don't know. I wouldn't mind fucking with the cape a little bit more. I think I like it. Do you know what I mean? I think I like the cape in the sketch better. Is there a reason we went more wavy? Was that just
like flatter? I think just for
like I don't dislike the cape there, but I just I don't know. I think I like it less wavy. Is that what do people?
Yeah. So I think like in my head I'm like making it a lot more superhero-y.
Exactly, and it's not that I dislike that.
If it's flatter, then it looks more like it is just a tied bit of cloth, which is more in keeping, I guess, with what we're discussing with the child card. So yeah, no, that's fine. It's all in layers and everything. So that's not a huge adjustment.
And so if it's
no, I think I think
I'm wrong, we can switch it back to like superhero, obviously. But
yeah,
I kind of,
but not just
yeah.
Not
I don't know.
Quite
Toby has more grace.
Superman. But yeah, I love it. That's something we can change.
Sweet. I don't know people generally positive about it in the chat, but if there's anything else people want to add to that suggestion. Less wavy looks more like a sheet borrowed from Mum. Yeah, so that's the general idea. Although his mother is no longer in the picture, Nathan. But thank you for, scratching that wound of mine.
Yeah, the one that got away.
Yeah, yeah.
There's kids playing in the background and stuff. So we've got there's a lot going on, and that's, I guess, part of the fun of because so when I'm drawing it, right, and whenever I'm doing passing sketches back and forth, sometimes I kind of forget that it's also going to be a fortune teller's card, which isn't a bad thing. So I'm not so at the beginning, the examples we were it was very, this is how you do a tarot deck, and this is what we do, and this is what it is. But each image is now just its own little story, but it's enough to give the meaning of the card without being crazy. And there's enough going on where it's so the way we all, I guess, read cards is you look, you see a little detail, you do this, you do that. So yeah, I like the way that there's more going on there's more detail than what I would have assumed we were doing, which is turning out to be kind of fun to draw, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. The cinematic universe demands it, I guess, in its own way.
Yes. Fidelity. There you go. Yeah, high fidelity.
Exactly. I think so too, and also because the video is obviously there'll be a book for the people who, and more of you need to buy it. The card deck. But the videos will exist in perpetuity. And in particular, once we're done, what I will probably do, and that's the royal eye, James will probably go back through the previous episode so that when we're on the Fox now, and a lot of the time we spend talking about Toby and the house and what have you. But it will be good for people to know who are using the cards, or even just Lenormand in general. So it's which is what I wanted. It's a cosmic public service that these discussions happen. And so even if the detail isn't visible, it's in the field. It's in the field of the Fox card and the Toby card and so on. So it's a pleasant thing to be part of, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I would concur, yes.
Nice one. Now, the Fox. In a way, we're back to bad cards, but also not. The energy, I was thinking about this, and it'll obviously inform the song choice, so spoiler alert. The traditional significations of the Fox card are deceit or something but also something is wrong that you currently don't know. So someone is lying to you, or you need to go and get a health screening of some description, depending on where the Fox lands. So if it's near a card, and I was going to just say the Tower, but because that's a traditional workplace thing, but it could be the garden. So a neighbor is stealing from you, or whatever relation the Fox card is in gives you an indication that something's wrong right now that you need to take care of. And so there are other significations. So that's the traditional one, and that's generally how it is. But by the same token, there's an energy to it of, you will always remember this is the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow, right? So there's the clever, cunning fox that escapes. So if we jump over to Cantboard, my favorite. So this is kind of a bit clip arty, unfortunately, which isn't clearly the energy we're going with. But we'll do it. So this one here, we're going with a fox in a hen house. And these two, obviously there's Captain Jack. And what I want, this is such a weird image, we'll click on it in a minute. But I like the idea of a fox sitting inside the hen house with a kind of somewhere in between this and this grin on his or her face, surrounded by hens underneath. So he hasn't actually started killing the hens. And this is why I think it's a better card. And it's a really good example, with the birds. I'm just going to jump back while I rant. With the birds, if you look at some traditional or classic fox cards, some in their defense, the fairy tale ones are quite good, because it's usually a fox in a waistcoat walking beside an animal he's about to eat. And that's quite good. But generally, it's just some like fox running near a picture of a rock or whatever. And again, it just doesn't carry the energy of it. And that's, one of the other reasons we're doing this deck is to have that available, because the moment in a fox card, why it shows up in a reading is something is wrong right now. And it will get worse. So that's why it can be, depending on if it shows up in relation to health, so like trees and whatever, it's something you've been misdiagnosed, or that persistent chest pain isn't a muscle. You go and get that checked out, kind of stuff. And that's where having the fox in the hen house, basically winking at camera, is exactly the sort of energy of when it shows up, because it's almost like he's calling you from inside the house. He's calling you from inside the hen house to say, guess where I fucking am, you idiot. And it's that kind of cheeky deception on an energetic basis. So if we go back to screen share. So not Fantastic Mr. Fox. So it's weird. In the field discussions, the planetary discussions we had last quarter, there was a film associated with each one. And obviously with the Fox card. And a friend of ours actually worked on Fantastic Mr. Fox, our flatmate in London. Obviously I had a flatmate when I was 8. Once again, doing the numbers on that. Great film. Anything Wes Anderson does is perfection. But it's more a pirate energy, to the point where, this is coming back to what Colin said about, we'll do more realistic cards. If the fox has an eye patch like a pirate, I wouldn't hate it.
Yes, high fidelity. Again.
Exactly.
No, when we were talking about it just before the show, I was thinking one of my favorite things from the bird card was just these kind of half ridiculous little expressions, tiny little detail on the pigeons that kind of made the card for me. It just brings that kind of life into it. So doing a little, cheeky fox being a little too human for its own, for anyone else's own good. Absolutely. I think that's 100% achievable. Because it was a lot of fun to do.
Well, and you have the option of doing a yet more preposterous bird than even the pigeon, in the form of hens, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of why this sort of odd image. I tell you how I found these, because obviously fox guarding the hen house is has big corporate energy. So the kind of corporate consults who come in and teach you how to management consults who are like, oh, you've got the fox guarding the hen house, and that's what this looks like. So that's why there's all this ghastly clip art of foxes in and around hen houses, because they're on PowerPoint presentations that people pay, get paid $2,500 a day to come in and tell people they're running their business wrong, and then off they go again, right? Speaking of foxes in hen houses, somewhat ironically. But there are some fun chickens. Same thing with the pigeons. There's an opportunity of having, because they are stupid, and also fun chicken fact, because I am a chicken wizard, chickens are night blind. So the fox can literally be sitting in the hen house, and they have, and they just they might smell it or hear it, but they'll just cluck, but they can't fucking see it. So that's why you lock them up at night, because they are literally incapable of defending themselves in any. Not that they could put up much of a fight against a fox anyway, but at night, you move your chickens at night. So we've done that a bunch of times, moving them to different enclosures and so on. And they're basically alien abducted in the middle of the night, because they have no fucking idea what's going on, because they can't see, which is why you do it then, instead of having the undignified process of chasing them around the yard. You just pick them up in the evening
and just lob them in.
Yeah, they're not catatonic, but they have no idea what's going on. So they know something is. Anyway, so that'll be fun. Same thing with the pigeons.
You've put some thought into this, obviously. You're what is going through your fucking brains, guys?
We've lost, and this is kind of sad, but last year was our first year of trying to and it was successful in the sense that we did manage to raise chicks from eggs in incubators and so on. But we have an animal down here called a quoll, which is a relation to the Tasmanian tiger, and that can climb fences and dig, and they're psychopaths, so they might lick some of the blood, but they don't actually eat the chickens. They just kill them all. In a fox's defense or a eagle's defense, because we've lost some to eagles too, which I don't mind, they will take one and eat it. Anyway, so yes, I've thought a lot about, like, and this is a bit horrific and it's not in the card, but like the last moments of those juvenile hens, because they have no idea what's going on, but something is, right?
But that plays into the joys of chicken laying. I don't know if you like odd or like I've struck up friendships with fox catchers here, so we're kind of like on a hill. There's like lots of sheep running around.
Of course you would, hey.
So I do like hill walking, like when the weather's right, when I can be fucked doing it. And a few years ago, I was just noticing these like explosions of oil.
Sorry, crazy. When I can be fucked doing it, I will go up into the hill. So like, this isn't the dogging card necessarily, but
to observe the sheep. So you would just see these like explosions of like sheep carcasses, like as if they'd melted in place or something. And so I ended up saying this to someone who was a fox catcher, amongst other things. He does that whole range. And he was like, during like lambing season, like when they're giving birth, the foxes, like they go straight for the asshole, and then they wait until like her sheep is given birth, and they go right in there, because that's like it's like the most like nutritious aspect of the prey. And so I was just like, that is, I mean, in my head, almost I would rather it was just exploding sheep that we were dealing with. But yeah, just another odd rando fact.
No, it's good.
Like what they are cantankerous survivors. I will say that for them.
Well, I just learned something new about foxes too. There you go. Going straight for the asshole. Like, I mean, because the asshole, the anus or whatever, is like the softest part accessible to them or something, or it's like, I don't know, they love it apparently. Oh no, I get it, because like typically the sheep would be covered in wool, so
except for that one bit, so there you go. Let the path of least resistance, we've all been there, you know.
Well, I was thinking that going straight for the asshole, it's like, I mean, I get it.
They're nature's tops, you know, like that's what they are.
But their nature's like femme-tops, because they're sneaky rather than nature's femme-tops. Awesome. All right. Which is also something you need to take care of. It's like, which coming back to the, I guess, I don't know, medical aspect of the card. That's basically, obviously we're going to talk about, and this is where it gets interesting and I think useful for the kind of pirate angle, and maybe why we'd definitely like to see a treatment, as long as it matches the right cinematic universe with an eye patch or similar.
Or like maybe like just like a scarred out eye,
something like that. Something.
Or do we
like
want like the theatrics of it?
I don't know.
No, we'll see.
Like I literally don't know. And it can be either, because there's a couple. So the 9 of clubs is the inset, and this is actually a card of like a bunch of stuff. So the end of work or a transition out of work, because the clubs is a work card and it's towards the end of it. But it has kind of like classical fortune telling significations of mental confusion, which is the same, sort of like being gaslit. So it actually kind of matches the fox in a way where it's like, I'm not seeing this correctly. Like,
it's the chicken, it's the night blindness. That's what it is.
So, the 9 of clubs would have been, if we're looking at the blend of fortune telling with playing cards and coffee grinds came together, you can see the natural association in the deception or self-deception, right? So it's like a mental confusion card, but it is also the card of the adventurer. So if you're looking for technically all of them, but not really, you can get a card that is sort of there's an archetype associated with essentially all the playing cards. And again, that's all. Camellia would hate that because it's traditional meanings accrued to it, and it's true. I mean, I don't read it that way unless I have to, unless it is clearly that. But that's where the kind of we can wink potentially with one eye at the sort of pirate fox association that the Nine of Clubs does kind of point to an adventurer as well, which is why when you said, what about a scar? Well, an adventurer would presumably have a scar, but you get that fox energy from a certain kind of adventurer, particularly when you're talking about like the late 18th century, because they're basically talking about piracy and harvesting the new world. So to be an adventurer in the 1790s is to be like Marie-Louise Girardin, right? It's to get on a ship in Europe and go exploring / robbing / warring in the Southern Hemisphere. So that's how the inset is in dialogue with the main image.
Good stuff. That's and also as kind of just another element of camp where there is a fox with an eye patch, like
exactly.
Just as an like, there are cards where we just like play into that, which I'm enjoying so far. So yeah, a continuation on a theme.
I think it will work. No, but it might not. My guess is it will, because it feels like if we've got a paddleboat casino that no one can see, then we have a shape-shifting pirate fox who might be calling people who are on the casino from inside their own hen house. Like, guess where I am, bitch?
Yeah. Very Bulgakov, that's what I'll say.
Yeah, so I don't know. Anything else we want to say about the fox?
Like color-wise, that's obviously a fox is the color of a fox. We've got hens. This is nighttime, I'm guessing. This is what we want to deal with. Like it's and the hatch and the night.
It is. Let me go back to cunt board. So what I like about this, if we scroll back up, I'm very interested in seeing slats behind it.
Yeah.
So when you say it's not, this is a nice blue. I would actually probably want smaller, because I'm actually the wood. It wouldn't be like classic. I want more slats than that, because if you look at this one here, a lot of it will be covered by the actual inset. But so I'm not sure if it's going to be this sort of blue evening light behind it, or if it's going to be, which would also be the case, like light. You wouldn't be able to see a farmhouse, but like light from more importantly, I want slats to answer your question, and we'll see if it's like nighttime.
I like
this is.
So the initial thing from this image when it first popped up was that I really like the shadow from like the door, like obviously like the door, as if caught in the act kind of thing, but still with a smirk on its face. So I kind of like that kind of very paparazzi kind of like,
I see it.
Caught doing a line of coke in the bathroom stall or whatever. Like so there's like an element of that, which again could be very camp. But yeah, a lot to play with, I think.
Yeah. So this one, it's dumb in the sense, like this is potentially. I enjoy the idea of this many chickens, although we don't really do this style. So I get why whoever painted this or composed it did so, but this fox looks overwhelmed by the task, which is absolutely the wrong energy. This fox is like, what have I got myself into? And I'm like, that's not fox in henhouse energy. But yeah, so I'm like thinking
the sequel, the Chicken Run like sequel or threequel or whatever.
Yeah. So Nathan, interesting. I was on a similar, like torchlight beams shining through the slats is exactly kind of what I was thinking, because it has that returns to the confidence in the deception, like the literal con job of it, which is like, you're looking for me out there. Guess where I am, bitch. And,
nice. Okay.
Yeah. So
because they can hear again, because much like the chickens, they can hear something, they know something's awry, but they can't quite locate what's happening. I like that.
Yeah. So that gives you options of what I think slats are mandatory, like because it needs to say hen house, right? But in terms of what's coming through the slats, that's let chef decide, right? Like see what works in terms of like color composition and so on.
Yeah, and it speaks back to like the UFO abduction thing. Like that's a very kind of
Exactly.
Spielberg kind of trick, right?
No,
Like
but if
light
it is
coming through
that,
the floorboards or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. But if it is that, I'm into it. Because that's
Yeah, totally.
that kind of like cosmic trickster energy. Because I'm doing the UFO psi, and I'm putting together UFO fairy and psi course at the moment. So
Oh, now you're
my
talking
head's
that,
there
man.
anyway.
That is very my lane of things.
Um, anything else we want to say before the song?
Do I have? Yes, I. So no, no, I don't have anything to say before the song. The song was difficult because I was saying to you before that there isn't like a trove of there isn't like even a trove of like trickster music. I don't think to like, which is a weird thing because it's like a huge character story element and like the way the world tells its stories, and there isn't like a lot to kind of go into for that kind of thing. But yeah, so what did you end up
Well,
picking?
so the only one, this isn't the song, but to answer your point, I agree because Dark Lady is one, but that
Oh,
belongs.
dude, yes. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is like with the Bart card. It was Gossip, and I was like, literally, there is a Lady Gaga song called Gossip, and like the whole theme is like gossip and Babylon and like the fall of
Yeah.
like a society because of all this shit, like all this like rumors and all that kind of hearsay. Totally missed it because like apparently as an LGBTQIA plus person, I'm just feeling the community essentially. Dark Lady's a really good one, yeah.
So that wasn't mine, but that's genuinely my favorite Cher song, I think.
Yeah.
But it has a bit more of the Michelle Gomez card energy to it. I think I might have
Ooh,
mentioned it
yeah.
then.
And I think the maybe the down point of that is that the trickster gets caught in the end, like she's taken out of the game.
Yeah. So
in the
Barely
song.
Balanced Tarot has Bad Boy by Billie Eilish, which is actually closer.
I had a Billie Eilish selection. Well, okay, wait. So there were several Bond songs in the offing, and perhaps because maybe an apparatus of the state would be very Fox like, so we were like that went in that direction. So it was the Billie Eilish Bond song was one of the options. And I ended up going with Goldeneye by Tina Turner because
Yeah.
Goldeneye, like Fox,
Yeah. No, I
and
get
it's
it.
a skulking the character that she kind of sings the character and the person that the character is kind of up against, and it's back and forth, but it's very skulky, very sexy, very kind of all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Billie Eilish could call.
Yeah. And Nate has What Does the Pirate Fox Say? Because we discussed and immediately ruled out What Does the Fox Say? But again, it's one of those things. Because mine is He's a Pirate. So mine is the Captain Jack theme music, and I was sharing some videos with you, done by like an Asian flash mob, or there's like a piano version, or like a cello and bagpipes. There are nights where, oh, this is a weird way of saying it. It's happened exactly once, but it's late for you by the time we get off the call. So if you want to pour yourself a couple of butch bourbons and fall down a YouTube hole, which is like, yeah, he's a pirate. You will fall down the stupidest, most amazing YouTube hole of bagpipes, cello,
That's
like choral in the round versions of it, 1.5 hour versions of it. It's this insane and glorious wonderland. And all of a sudden it's 2:30 in the morning. You're drunk, really, really excited. It's like, why did I have a He's a Pirate cover hangover? And that has literally happened to me.
that is exactly the kind of YouTube spiral I do tend to go in. So I will be presently looking forward to that.
But Nate was saying the same thing. Like, if there was What Does the Pirate Fox Say? Like that tracks. I like the Billie Eilish one. I like He's a Pirate. I think you landed on a pretty good one. Dark Lady, still valid.
She's valid.
Still valid. Yeah, I think that. And guys, if you're watching this, we share all this kind of stuff and the songs and what have you, and of course the Telegram group, and you'll find the link below this video to it. So what do you, other than our pirate fox, what else you got on in between now and next week?
For the week coming, I know phrasing. Uh, Drawing. We're doing this. We've got a new, hardware set up. So just exploring the possibilities. I think as I venture back into owning a fucking laptop instead of just an iPad Pro, things will get a bit more interesting. Yeah, so just kind of feeling things out and we're in the middle of what passes for summer here, so just kind of taking the opportunity
Get
here and
some
there
fucking-
to enjoy what passes for
Yeah,
that.
get some
However we
sun,
can.
phrasing.
What about you? What are you up to?
I am in prison, so not a lot.
Okay.
I get out of prison next Wednesday, so it's Friday morning here. I have a live call with David Holmgren about his film, like usual Gordon stuff, just run from here. And the next show, I will be in Hobart because we have a couple of permaculture events that are up there, which is why there was that. I'm going to show it to you now anyway, because you see how it says GoPro. This is my traveling setup. So that's what next week's show will look like, except where it says GoPro, there will be my amazing face.
She's giving face,
Yeah.
and that's the Drag Race reference for this evening.
That's true. Did we get that?
We squeeze it in at the end. We did
Yeah, phrasing.
it. Oh God. Well, anyway.
Well, no, I think we've done well.
Seeing the setup. Okay, cool. That's cool.
Yeah. I think we've done well on all of this. And guys, thanks again for the input. The slat stuff, I think Nathan's input is really good. Nathan is man of the match just because that's a sport reference. Why not?
Could that be a thing in future episodes, like where we have like a prize, like a prize as in we say "good job, you" to whoever has who's leading in the comment section, or is that just too like?
Well, we could.
Is that too competitive?
Now, all of a sudden,
guys, lads, little lassies, he's up to it.
Now I want it to be a cash prize that rolls over.
First of all, this is the UK drag race, so no cash prizes.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, this is the UK Down Under drag race. So it's like you get $1. And if you don't win this week, next week it's 50 cents.
Inflation is a bitch, you know.
Exactly. Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, this has been great, and I'm looking forward to it. And guys, jump into the Telegram chat in the middle of the week to get the updates. And as Colin says, like earlier for feedback, because although I did kind of throw him a curveball with Toby's cape this week, but
Toby's Cape sounds like a really sad novel about like I don't know what
that's
about.
if my son dies. Don't say that.
Dingoes ate my baby. Like it's all in your region. We'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Oh, boo. All right. Well, well guys, see you in the Telegram chat. Thanks again. Yeah, very good times.
Bye, guys.